I hate America. Not in the same way like Kim Jong-un does or anything, it's just you lot get cinema releases so bloody early. Do you know we still don't technically have the Goosebumps movie officially released over here yet? You all got it just in time for Halloween. You know when we get it? Bloody February. What, pray tell, could be so difficult to localise in the Goosebumps movie that it's taken them nearly 4 months to do it? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm really in that Halloween spirit on Valentine's Day. Sorry, I digress. The issue I have isn't with Goosebumps. It's just I'm impatient and I hate always having to wait for movies. Especially when it means I get a slew of noteworthy films to review all in massive rapid succession, and even more so when the film is this bloody good. Creed is the next film in the long dormant Rocky franchise, this time following the hopeful rise of Adonis Creed, a young boxer being trained by his father's longtime boxing rival and protagonist of the previous films, Rocky Balboa. People will get irritated that I attach this word to the movie, but I'm gonna say it. Creed is perfect. And by that, I don't mean that it's the best movie ever. There are more flawed films I'd put above this in my list of favourites, but Creed seems to never once fail at anything it sets out to do. This shit is tightly woven. Ryan Coogler has lovingly handcrafted an extremely well written, well performed and well directed underdog story that works as an amazing standalone movie and is also the best possible continuation of the Rocky franchise you could ask for. I can't express enough how much I love the film from start to finish. It genuinely exceeded all expectations, and I honestly can't tell you which is my favourite of the Rocky movies now between this and the original. Much like the first film, this isn't a story about boxing. It just simply uses boxing as a framing device to tell a tale about more intimate issues, specifically stuff like identity, love, grief, and friendship. I don't want to spoil too much, but the interpersonal relationships that this film explored genuinely choked me up on multiple occasions, particularly that of Adonis, our protagonist, and his mentor Rocky. This was partly due to the great writing and direction, but perhaps also due to the absolutely knockout performances the two of them both put on. They seriously felt like real people, with a sincere friendship. The chemistry was honestly just spellbinding to watch, and their likability made them extremely easy to root for through their hardships. And man, were their hardships rough. I'm a big fan of the vulnerable hero. I often find these days that movie stars come across far too competent in their roles to the point where it feels like they could handle anything. Coogler understands this and directed this film in such a way that it almost always feels like at any single moment, Adonis could lose. Never was this more apparent than in the major fights, which were a series of mesmerising choreographed long drawn out one-shots that danced impeccably between the action and emotion in a brilliant ballet of high octane violence. These sequences told a visual story of difficult endeavours through emotion and camera movement, and the rest of the film was equally well crafted. You felt every struggle, your insides shook with every punch, you cheered him on from the sidelines. The movie was framed so immaculately, it was like you were there with the characters, like you wanted Adonis to succeed as much as Rocky did. It put you, as an audience member, in the journey with this wonderfully flawed human being. You got to see him at his best, his worst, and everything in between. One criticism I've heard of the film is that it's incredibly predictable, and that is absolutely true, but honestly, who cares? It doesn't matter that you know all the destinations you'll stop at when the journey is this good. Yeah, the film follows a formula, one that often mirrors the same formula its predecessors used, but there is a reason it does so. It's because that was the perfect way to tell this particular story. It's character driven. You watch this film for the people, not the plot points. And if you manage to enjoy these characters, their relationships, and their journey as much as me, then I have no doubt this movie will be one of your favourites of the year. Whether that's 2015 if you're American, or 2016 if you're from anywhere else that's not so lucky. Oh, and by the way, that's the review over. It's a little quick, but I don't want to spoil anything. If you've seen this film, however, and want to stick around, I'd just like to take a moment to talk about the final shot because it's bloody genius. Stop the video now, though, if you've still yet to see it. Okay, you've had fair warning. So in the final moments of the movie, Adonis and Rocky walk up the famous Philadelphia Museum of Art steps, as made culturally relevant by their iconic appearances in the previous Rocky movies. Rocky is sick but recovering, and Adonis' arc in his search for identity is complete. In these final few minutes, we see some incredible filmmaking. The roles of the characters switch, the ultimate payoff to the whole story. Adonis, having evolved from the struggling troubled child to the disenfranchised office worker to accomplished boxer who cemented a legacy he was never sure was his to continue, has completed his arc. Rocky is now his trainee. Adonis sees that as his friend has guided him, he will now guide his friend in this incredibly loving display of encouraging Rocky's now tired and old body to, just for a moment, become victorious once again and conquer the steps that were so symbolically important to him in his past. Rocky does it. It isn't easy, but he goes out on a win. The final moment in Rocky's story is one of victory at the sight of his new friend, and the final shot encapsulates the whole film. The two stand triumphantly, their backs to the cameras, facing a stunning vista of the whole city. Rocky is here, still placed on a pedestal as a hero, but no longer the one whose story it is. He's positioned right of the frame, off to the sidelines, juxtaposing his usual placement on these steps as the camera's main focus. Centre frame is the new hero, Adonis, the one whose story this now is. The final shot metaphorically encapsulates the whole idea of the movie. The spacing and placement of the characters acting as a symbolic passing of the torch, and the way the director tells the audience that Adonis isn't just carrying his father's legacy, he's carrying Rocky's. And as he stands atop that pedestal where Rocky once stood, we know he's doing a bloody good job of it. Brilliant.